right, so I'm going to hit the record button and do that thing, and when we get to it, we'll get to it. So we'll just bullshit for a second, and then we'll eventually fall into it. But, man, I'm happy to be stationary. Trust me, because that drive was about 40 minutes longer than I expected.
Yeah.
It's been, I think the last time I was even this far out of Knoxville, I was doing art park things. You haven't been much further east than this lately, have you?
No, I have not. I've been in my time zone. I had to go down to like South Carolina and visit family for Christmas, but that's been it.
I totally forgot until this morning about the time zone change.
Yeah.
I texted you, I was like, wait a minute. You're on one side of this line and I don't know which. So then I had to, redo my math all over again.
Oops.
But, whatever. It's easy math.
Yeah.
I just had to subtract an hour.
Yeah, it's easier when you're coming into Nashville. When you're going from here to somewhere else, it's like I have to always leave an extra hour early, which can be a pain.
Yay, time zones.
Yeah. They're fun.
Gives me something else to think about when I'm trying to drive more than 3 hours west. But yeah, okay, so I guess we'll just get into it now. Hello, everybody. This is Thomas Zachary. This is another episode of the KAAMP. I'm here with dog, cats, and a person named Cat, and we're going to talk about artsy things. If you will introduce yourself proper, that'd be great.
Proper, okay.
Yeah, more than my informal introduction.
Gotcha. I am Kat, the cartoonist behind Whiskykitteeeee, a cartoon brand that I started, just throwing out there about a year ago. It's always been a dream to draw lots of stupid stuff to make people laugh, and there's a lot of empathy mixed in for just letting people know that, like, hey, you're not like completely alone out there if you think Earth is stupid and everything sucks sometimes, and you just want to like laugh and not be serious about it. And I paint and do a lot of other stuff too. I'm kind of all over the place with the arts.
So we met at the art park. So murals are a thing you do occasionally.
Yes.
Occasionally.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've done a big, in another lifetime, I painted murals in museums doing like pastoral scenes showing people working and accurate depictions of farm equipment. Haven't done that in quite some time. Now I just spray paint like kitty cats in space floating in donuts.
Which I find terribly entertaining. I greatly enjoy the content.
What's not to love about cats and donuts?
I mean, if anybody has a problem with cats and donuts, they're probably not like good friend material.
Right? That's like a good, like a stick to measure friends by, like
a litmus test.
Yes, that's the word for that.
Yeah, so it's one of those. What got you here in the metaphorical sense?
What got me here in Nashville, or
where you're at creatively?
I
don't do it, Rudy. Thank you.
I don't really fit in with the fine arts world per se. It's me. It's not them.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure because
Okay.
Plenty of other people fit in with it and they make it work. I'm just not good at like talking to, people who have a lot of questions about where'd you go to school? Tell me this, tell me that, and you feel like kind of judged and stuff. So I always like felt pushed out of that and kind of gravitated to a more lowbrow feel that just feels more natural to me. I feel more accepted in this drawing of silly and stupid things.
There's less emphasis on being historically accurate.
Yeah, there's that.
Is that relaxing?
Absolutely. And it's what's in my head. Like there's just this constant stream of stupid jokes and puns, and these characters that I draw, like, they live in here. They talk to me every day. Like, I wake up like, oh, Punk Turkey wants to do this today. And I have to, like, go write it down and make sure it happens, or else they throw hissy fits.
And they like smash their fists around the inside of your skull.
Absolutely. I've been drawing Punk Turkey, like, in notebooks and margins since college, and about 5 years ago I started drawing Whiskykitteeeee the same way, and roughly a year ago when I started, like, putting the comics out there, the Whiskykitteeeee character in my head threatened to leave me.
Oh no.
Yeah, he was very, upset. He was all like, hey man, I'm freaking awesome and adorable, like, you need to, like, put me out there or I'm out. It was like, make a commitment, okay?
Well, that sounds kind of how my shroomy fish have been, because they no pun intended, they've been floating around my mind for a long time. and they're just a thing that I draw when I don't know really what else to draw, or I just feeling low on inspiration. Like, that idea is always there, and I just go at it sometimes.
Yeah, I keep, like, kind of noticing that artists, like, they stumble into a thing that becomes their thing. Like, you'll look at somebody's, like, page, like, at their body of work, and it's they'll go to the same subject, like, nonstop. Like, there's people who draw nothing but cats and nothing but dragons and nothing but, like, trees.
Nothing but dragons and trees. Some people do find that avenue in which they work best when it comes to subject matter. I've not been, I've done so much. I guess my style, the psychedelic airbrush, or not airbrush, but pinstripey thing is sort of the thing I've found my way into, but I don't know if that's my thing.
Yeah.
So it's just something I enjoy doing that I've been able to do well.
It's your thing now.
Yeah,
like, your
exactly.
thing can change.
And it has changed a lot in the last, 10, 12 years that I've been trying to be a creative person. So you haven't always just played with digital illustration?
No, I got into digital like a year and a half ago and started playing with it and found it just so incredibly freeing and fun. I don't have to paint over something. If I get mad at it, I can just, like, take out a few layers and change it up, and it might be fixable.
Yeah, that's true. You have a physical tablet that you draw on.
Yes.
You like that a lot?
I love that. It's the best thing I have ever owned. It's a prized possession.
Oh, yeah?
My Wacom. Wacom?
I've never heard, I don't think I've ever heard two people say that the same way.
It's a Wacom.
Wacom? I think the only one people don't screw up is bamboo.
Yeah. That one's a very established word.
Yeah. So, back when you didn't do such things, what did you do?
A lot of acrylic painting on canvas, and I still do that because I absolutely love it. I like painting creepy trees and bones and stuff. I taught drunk painting classes for about 6 years.
6 years?
Yeah, that was an adventure because I'd have to stand in front of a bunch of drunk people. Well, they weren't all drunk, but most of them were.
By the end of the group, at least.
and teach them in 2 hours how to paint something, and it was hilarious. It was a fun job while it lasted, for sure.
It sounds like you were there long enough to get some good stories.
Yeah, I was actually there from the time the place opened until they closed. Like, I literally just stuck with this business until they, they were nice people, but they managed it into the ground.
Oh, hey, I know what that's like.
Yeah. It's like, you try and you're all like, you're trying to, like, steer the ship in the right direction. You're like, you guys, you gotta buy new brushes, man. You gotta, like, keep up with your inventory. You gotta have stuff. 'Cause people are gonna get mad if you don't have, like, useful brushes. And that's pretty much what happened. Was they just never, like, upgraded any of the studio items when they wore out. It was like they bought one set of brushes when they opened and said, this is it. We bought our brushes. I'm like, nah, man, them things wear out.
Especially in the hands of people that are intoxicated.
Yes!
Because they just, run them into the canvas.
They don't know what they're doing. They're, like, acting crazy with them.
So, managed it into the ground. What after that?
I worked for a big photography company for like 11 years. And then just eventually I got to where I didn't want to do it anymore. So I took a chance on doing my art. It's just my art, and I quit. It was probably the bravest and stupidest thing I've ever done. Was, leaving a pretty decent job that wasn't terrible.
Right.
Go do something that I really want to do, because I got to a point where I was like, I don't see myself doing this like 10 years from now. And if I keep doing this, that's exactly what I'm gonna be doing. And I didn't feel like I'd be happy, like looking back from, 10 years from now and looking back and being like, oh, why'd I just keep doing this? I should have like took a chance and like switched it up.
Yeah, broke the routine.
Yeah, broke the routine, absolutely. Because like in the next 10 years, I hope to see myself like, just selling paintings, making art, producing comic books, and making cartoons, like doing the stuff that really makes me happy. And that I hope makes other people happy, because what the hell am I making this stuff for if I'm not, making my viewers and fans' lives better by giving them a laugh every once in a while?
Right. And a lot of your content that I've seen, some of it's dark, but all of it's funny. I've not seen any just like gratuitously dark just to be dark, things that come out of
There's
you.
like a silver lining of hope usually in the dark. Yeah, he does this. There's a cat climbing the curtains right now, doing his thing.
Yeah. So speaking of the animals, I like that you use them for inspiration for a lot of your work, or at least they seem to be work adjacent in your life.
Yes.
So give us a rundown on this motley crew you got.
Oh, Lord. So we've got 3 cats in the house. We've got Bobby, Steve, and Rudy. Steve's a big old fluffy, gorgeous beast. He's a nut. He's my little Hellcat. And Rudy is the baby. He's a perma baby. He's about 7 pounds, but he's full grown. He has asthma, and it does not seem to slow him down like ever, because he's the one who scales the curtains and wakes me up every morning by either trying to lick my eyeball or groom my armpit hair.
Your eyeball.
My eyeball.
And your armpit hair.
Wants, yes. Like the worst things that a cat can be licking, like he wants to get at. It's awful. Or he sticks his foot in my water cup and throws it on me, like puts his foot in there, gets it all soaking wet, and I wake up getting splashed in the face with cold water from my cat's dirty little kitty litter paws. He's quite the goober.
I don't really advocate for abuse, but when was the last time you threw one of these animals across the room?
Never. They're a constant source of entertainment.
So what about these canines?
The canines are, once they calm down, they're good.
Oh, this one's asleep next to me on the couch.
Yeah. Mugen's my old dog. She's pretty lazy and chill until she's at the vet and they try to give her a shot. She hates that. Jean's a puppy. He's like a year old, but he's also an 80-pound puppy, so it's a lot. Like, he does very normal puppy things, but when he does them, he can knock you over.
Yeah, at scale, they're not super cute.
Yeah. Yep.
So, do the dogs ever find their way into your art? Because I haven't noticed, but I haven't seen everything.
Not as much. Like, they're very camera shy, so like I can't really take pictures of them. They get all derpy and run away.
No good reference photos.
Yeah. And I don't know. The cats, to me, like they give me a lot more to work with, as far as like being sassy little assholes.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I mean, they are cats.
Yeah, the dogs get in there sometimes. That I drew one recently making jokes about the word collie, so it was melancholy and hoarder collie. And that's because Jean always steals Rudy's toys and walks off with them, and Rudy's always sitting here like, dude, bruh, I wasn't done with that, like, you dick. And then the puppy destroys it.
As puppy does.
Yes, it's what puppies do.
So, before you started doing all the digital stuff, you did acrylic stuff. What? Is there a difference in the content when you did all that kind of work?
Yeah, I never really did any like cartoony stuff with the acrylics at all. But with the digital, like it just lends itself so well to, drawing comic book style. Yeah. Big content shift. I did paint cats though. So like in that sense, like the subject matter carried over a bit, but the way I approach it is totally different because I really want, like, this is going to be the year that I make my first comic book. I've given myself a deadline. I'm just going to say it because I'm feeling brave, but
do it. You got this.
By the end of March, I plan to have like my first comic book completely drawn, and I'm just gonna like self-publish it and have it available like when I do events and stuff, and post it online and be like, hey, who wants a stinking comic book? Here. The comic books are more centered on the punk turkey, who is the character mouthpiece who is more likely to say things that are like terrible and not adorable like the cat. Like the cat doesn't cuss a lot. He might say damn it or hell. But the turkey, he might tell you to go fuck yourself.
The turkey has an attitude? The
turkey has a real attitude. He's a straight up punk. He's based off of every like dirty punk friend that I ever had. So,
because you've had a few of those, right? You're into that sort of thing.
I've had a few of those. I'm really into those sorts of people. I feel like they're very honest. They'll tell you "fuck you" to your face, instead of like sneaking around behind you or saying it in some sneaky way.
True. Would you say your musical interests on that front influence your work?
Yes, definitely. And I know it's very. There's not a huge target audience maybe for some of the things that I draw because
for punk rock cat comics.
Yeah, exactly. Like, are you into punk rock and also cats? Okay, then this might be for you. Here's a drawing of Whiskykitteeeee as like the Miss Kitts mascot, like.
Which I thought was great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That one was actually pretty popular. I was pleased with it.
There you go. So does it filter into your work in other ways? Other than some straight, like, imagery mashup?
I think the aesthetic in a lot of ways and the attitude of, like, well, this is some shit. Fuck this.
Just the rawness inspires the feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Just like that. That's right. Punk rock all the way. So your comics and what you put out, what format of comics do you normally work in? Is it like 4x4? Like, obviously you work a lot on Instagram, so you do a lot of medium format images.
Square.
Do you ever just do like slide throughs where it's just one frame, slide next?
I've chopped up a few like that just because because if there's too many like little frames, you can't really see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll chop them up so that you can like slide through them and see each frame, and then do the big frame at the end. But for the most part, like I just keep them to like one single thing, like one square. Get it all in there.
Do you like how Instagram does that? With the slideshows?
Yeah, I think it's handy.
Is it advantageous for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Because then, like, you can show the comic and then maybe what inspired it. Because there have been times where, like, it is a comic about my cat climbing the curtains, and I'll put up like the photo of my cat climbing the curtains, like right behind the comic of like the joke. About it. Nice.
I like that.
Yeah. And when you've got like multiples of something, like when I do the silkscreen shirts and I want to show like, I did this one print on several different shirts and I want to show a whole bunch of them. I think it's helpful.
Yeah, it works.
Especially when you're selling stuff,
Yeah, having multiple images in the same place is pretty handy.
Yeah.
I've seen people even use them to like display panoramas as almost one continuous image. Like they'll cut it up. And then when you swipe, the image doesn't really break, so you can look kind of cleanly across.
Indeed.
Which is neat.
That's some like posting artistry.
Yeah, that's a whole other mess that's a ballpark I don't mess with too much. What outside of punk rock and these cats that run around and share space with you in your home, do you have any other like comic writing or comic artist inspirations that influence your work? Or maybe not directly influence your work, just people whose things you like to read and consume and look at.
Honestly, I like to play Dungeons and Dragons and listen to a lot of fantasy books. I love sci-fi books, so a lot of times like I find myself gravitating towards space as a subject matter because of that. There's a few comics on Instagram that I definitely like follow their work closely. One of my favorites is Dope Cat because he draws just absolutely hilarious, terrible things for people who are definitely not prudes.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's a fun one. I recommend it. I think you'll crack up.
All right. Anything else?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm really just a bookhead. Just audiobooks and stuff, like nonstop, always.
What's the last audiobook that you finished, or what are you playing right now?
Oh, I've got 5 hours left in. It's the 3rd book of the Stormlight Archive from Brandon Sanderson, and it's epic, man. Each book's like 50 hours.
Good God.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but they're like, once you get into them, man, you're like, oh my God, I gotta finish this. Like, they're really, really good.
So you said there's 3 books?
There's 4.
4 books, and they're all 50 hours long?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
I'm not
kidding.
kidding.
That's 200 hours of audio content?
Yeah.
Is the author reading the material, or is it somebody else?
No, it's two voice actors, one male and one female, and they switch off, and it's really well done. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's a good book, and on top of that, it's read to you by like awesome professionals.
I think I haven't decided which I like better, like having an author read it or talented voice actors.
Right?
Because
yeah,
there are different perspectives there.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess it kind of depends on the kind of book too. Like, was it? You probably wouldn't want George R.R. Martin reading the Game of Thrones books to you.
I mean, I might. I like listening to that man talk.
Maybe
it's not
so.
the most pleasant experience, but somehow I enjoy it.
Yeah, but then, like, how does he pull off the female voices?
He
like,
doesn't.
Yeah.
He just says it, or would just say it, and that would, that would be
that's
funny.
fair.
That would be entertaining.
So is it the Stephen Fry readings of the Sherlock Holmes novels? Like, those are great, and he doesn't like put on a voice for the ladies. So yeah. I'm gonna go with your right on this one.
I would hope that would be the case, because if he tried and then nobody liked it, I would be very upset. I did read or listen to Dune recently after the movie came out. I was like, man, I need to get on that audiobook. So I got on the audiobook, and it was a male narrator, and he tried to do some of the ladies' voices, and I was just like, man, this is something else. So it's all right. But if they had a separate voice actor for the female characters, or or he didn't try to go so hard as a female character, then it'd probably been a more enjoyable listen.
The key words there is go so hard. Like,
right.
You can do a slight intonation, like make your voice a little bit higher, but don't like go into full on falsetto. That's
right.
That's ridiculous.
So what's good today? What are you working on today? As you run across the room. Oh no, she's out of microphone range. It's all right, everybody. She's letting the dog outside. I promise she didn't abandon. And with the sock slide across the wood floor, look at you.
Yeah.
So what are you working on today?
Today, what was I working on today? Oh, doing some I call all my stuff stupid, but I swear I mean it in a good way. This is not like me being like, I do everything stupid and bad. No. Some really fun, stupid video work to go with stuff for TikTok. Cause I'm trying TikTok, yo. So like I take a time lapse recording of a drawing and like put some sounds to it, and
I pet the cat, and now you're all up in my. I'm Beastmaster right now, I guess.
Yes.
All right. Hello. Okay.
and I just did a sticker design for a cat
The
floating in a
holographic
donut.
sticker I saw you posted about earlier?
Yes, and then, oh my gosh, this made my day. Like, I got an email from Sticker Mule, and they're the ones that I'm using for the printing this time because they did a special on holographic stickers, and I'm like, I've been like watching them, waiting for that one because I want it. But they sent me a little email that said they were giving my account a $10 credit because they were all like, hey, cool cat sticker.
For real?
Yeah, they were all like, we see that you made a cat sticker. Have a $10 credit.
All right, that's cool.
I'm like, heck yeah, this is awesome. Is this like a secret thing? Like, do you have like a, I don't know, like a subject matter that, like a secret subject matter that if somebody turns in a sticker for that, like you send them a $10 credit?
No, it's this week it's cats. Next week it's going to be dog. Like the week after that it's going to be raccoon stickers.
Exactly.
You know, they just like pull the content out of the hat style and just like, what's it going to be this week?
Yeah. Whose day are we going to make this time? And I'm all like, all right, well this time it was cats.
Right, and there you go. You got it. So that was a big help.
Yeah. Like, I will take it.
Is this your first set of holographic stickers?
Yes. I
Ooh.
am super stoked. Have you've done holographic stickers?
I haven't, but I'm a fan of them.
Yeah, they look so good. I'm like, ooh, I can't wait.
So do you want to spill the big? I know you've posted about it already, but do you want to tell the listeners what it looks like?
It's a cat in a donut in space, and it says, "You'll love my frisky creams." You know, Whiskey Kitty wants to open up his own donut shop, and that's
Is it an interstellar donut shop?
Yes, it's in the middle of space. Like, you
Okay.
have to get into a little spaceship, which is probably food shaped, and get out to him. Because in Whiskey Kitty's world, all spaceships are shaped like food.
What would my spaceship be shaped like? A French cruller? Like,
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Why not?
That sounds good. Is that your favorite pastry?
no, it's the best pastry I think to fly through space.
Okay, see, now that's the real questions that I want people to ask themselves. Like, what pastry is the best to fly through space in?
All right, y'all. When I post this episode, I'm gonna need you to get in the Instagram comments and tell me what pastry would fly best through space.
Yeah.
We don't need any scientific or engineering answers. I just want your truest, most heartfelt answer. Mm-hmm. What pastry would you find most pleasing in space?
I'm pretty sure it's a sprinkled pink donut.
How are they universally appetizing?
Oh, I love them. That's
Well, I
my
mean,
favorite
obviously
donut.
they're delicious, but even the people that don't like them see them in an advertisement like,
Yeah.
damn, I want a donut.
It's the pink, man. It just looks delicious. And the
Does.
sprinkles,
It does.
yeah.
And nobody, I don't think I've ever heard anybody fuss about sprinkles.
Yeah, sprinkles are great, man. They're like, I don't know, they have like, they're a texture bonus.
They're a little bit of sweetness. Just a
Yes.
little bit, literal
Yes.
little bit of sweetness.
Exactly. Ooh, I used to work at an ice cream shop. That was fun.
Oh man, does ice cream ever influence your work?
No. And honestly, I didn't even eat that much ice cream while I worked there. I'm surprised I don't like ice cream more than I do, because I want to love ice cream, but it's really cold.
Is that a problem?
Yeah, I don't like cold things that much, which is weird. It's kind of like root beer. Like, I wish I loved root beer, but I don't.
Do you have a serious contention in your person about not liking root beer?
Yeah, I do. Like, I feel I'm
You
really...
said it like you were really disappointed
Well,
in
I'm
yourself.
really, really jealous because people who like it seem to really, really, really like it, and I've got like this FOMO about it. Like,
Well, for
I'm
the
missing
record,
out.
I really do like root beer.
See, there we go. Look, and I'm missing out on that. I don't know that joy.
When was the last time you had root beer?
I mean, I hate root beer, so almost never. I can't think of the last time.
Well, do you ever come across something where you're just like, man, maybe I should give that a try? I can't remember the last time I gave that a try.
I want to say I went through that with a lot of vegetables when I started cooking for myself, because like so many people, like my very southern family, like boiled the ever-loving hell out of all their
You
vegetables.
can't do that if you want it to taste good.
And they tasted like mushy awfulness. Asparagus is an example.
No,
like,
you pan fry asparagus. Why would you boil
Yes,
it?
exactly. No, my mom would serve up canned asparagus.
No.
Like, why was it even in a can? Don't can it.
No.
Gross.
No, thank you.
No, I like it. I like it roasted
Yeah.
or pan-seared.
Yeah. I'm sorry you experienced that, but now you know better.
Well, my mom learned her lesson the hard way about making me eat it because I barfed at the dinner table. It literally sent my gag reflex off.
Well, never again after that?
Yeah, I showed her. Very rebellious child, clearly.
Oh my goodness, how old were you when that happened?
I was 6. Because I can remember it pretty clearly. Cause we were,
I bet.
Yeah. You don't forget that. So I didn't. But I did eventually try asparagus again.
As an adult with sound mind.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad you're giving vegetables a second chance.
I like it now. I love vegetables. That's all I eat.
So do you have a favorite vegetable?
Ooh, I mean, broccoli's awesome. Red peppers are so good. Roasted red peppers.
So it's between that and broccoli?
Yeah, I think so. I also love corn and mushrooms and green beans.
Okay, so the list just got exponentially longer.
Yeah. Well, I kind of don't eat meat. So...
Kind of?
I literally just eat vegetables anyway, so it's a good thing I like them.
Really? Well, if you're going to only eat the things, you best figure out how to prepare them for yourself well enough.
Yeah, totes.
I have a friend who shall remain nameless, but if he ever hears this, he'll know exactly who it is by what I say next. He forces himself to eat cauliflower and broccoli and a few carrots every now and again. Aww. And beyond that, it's just like mashed potatoes.
Oh, well, I'm glad he makes himself do that.
Yeah, I mean, I've
that's some real self-care
definitely
right there.
given him some hell from time to time. He won't even get lettuce on a cheeseburger, and I'm like, what the hell is your problem? Cool, crisp, good lettuce on a cheeseburger, man. Come on. He won't do it.
You just made me think self-care as punishment, self-care punishment mode.
I don't like this cauliflower. It's good for me. Yeah, exactly. That's this guy. It's definitely this guy. So what? Other than the self-challenge of a self-published comic book, what body of work are you just trying to expand your inline comic body of work?
And I'm trying to figure out what things do you do in order to get paid for your work? Because it's one thing to make a bunch of comics and throw them out there on the internet for free.
Yeah.
And then it's another thing to figure out what kind of things do people want to pay you for?
Right.
So that's something I'm reaching into this year, and also getting those things out to people, setting up an online shop where people can easily go look at your products and make purchases, and doing in-person stuff markets, which is great because there's a lot of markets available to go set up at that fit really well with what I do.
Yeah, I don't feel like you've got anything too coarse content-wise to.
Yeah.
You can display about anywhere your work.
Yeah.
Because it's only. I'm not going to say it's safe, but it's not often offensive.
Yeah, and then even I can leave the offensive stuff behind if I'm somewhere where that doesn't fly.
Which is great that you have that flexibility.
Yeah.
I was at a market recently, and I had one of my 3D printed glowy fucks out on the table, and some people just were looking at the art, and they grabbed a flashlight and they shone the black light on some of the pieces. We're like, oh, that's really cool, and then scanned the black light over the fuck and saw that it glowed, and they're like, oh, this is cool, and they picked it up and they looked at it and they realized what it said and they put it down and walked away. I don't know.
Awesome.
Before they picked it up, I guess they didn't read it, even though it's a 4-letter word. So they got it up to right here in front of them, looking at it close. Flipped it back and forth one time, and I just saw it click in their brain, oh, this says fuck, and just put it down and walked away.
That is fantastic.
So I've had some fun vendor experiences with my products, but I don't take those everywhere. So
Yeah. You gauge your crowd.
I normally just sell those on the internet.
Yeah. I bet you could sell those if you did a punk rock event.
Well, Knoxville has punk rock flea markets, so
nice.
we do that every now and again. Do you have those out here?
Mm-hmm.
Do you do those?
Have you done? They just started those here, and I did the first one.
So here is where, so people know.
Here is Nashville.
Yeah. Do you do a lot of the East Nashville markets? Because you're kind of southeast of Nashville.
Doing my first one this coming weekend, and then on February 12th, and then I'm in the East Nashville art thing, the art show that they're doing in April. So I'm branching out into that now.
Hey.
Yeah, growing. I've got like inventory now.
Other than shirts and stickers, you're going to be like physically selling things at these markets.
Yeah, shirts, stickers, art prints, paintings. Like I'm bringing a whole bunch of stuff and be like, buy my stuff. You know, if you like my stuff. Like I'm not going to be like forcing you to, but if you vibe with it and you want it, it's for sale.
You can give me money for it.
You can give me money so that I can keep up with my ridiculous pets' lavish lifestyles.
So what are you most excited to have available to the public?
I am really excited about the t-shirts. They're fun for me to make. I'm doing it in a very like dirty DIY style where I literally have like a wooden frame and an old piece of a silk curtain that I stapled onto this frame.
Yep.
And then I silk screen straight onto thrift store t-shirts.
Hey, there you go.
So I can make like about 6 of them with each stencil. So they're all like super one of a kind. And
yeah. Well, I mean, every time you use the stencil, it gets damaged a little bit. So every one of them is unique in their own way.
Yes, sometimes the ink squishes through somewhere, and I'm all like, "Hey, man, that's just an enhancement. It's just got even more special."
Right.
I do want to like at some point upgrade my my register that I use for the silk screening so that it's got like a hinge and build a second screen so that I can like start doing like 2 colors on stuff. Because you've seen like the big awesome ones that like have
like
those
6 head, crazy rotating.
Yeah. So I can't match that at all. Not in my DIY way. And I really like making them myself because I could like order these through somebody because there's awesome printers locally who do like really beautiful work, but then I wouldn't be doing it.
Right.
Yeah, I want to do it.
It wouldn't have your handmade stamp of approval on it. Yeah. Which like I admire that about the people. Like, I want to make my stuff. I don't want to make it. I want to control every bit of the process because it's mine. And that's sort of how I feel about some of the things that I put out. Like this is a thing uniquely produced by me, and I'm the only person that can do this. So you're not going to get this from anyone else.
Anywhere else. One of a kind.
Which I really enjoy because I like knowing that every piece is different. I also like being able to shake the hand of the person that made it when I bought it.
Yeah.
And that always entertains me.
Yeah, I get really happy when somebody buys the t-shirts because I'm all like, you're going to wear Whiskey Kitty's face, and that's what he wants. Like, he wants you to wear his face. Not
in like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre way, but like
but
like the this is my face on a t-shirt way.
Yeah.
Like, wear me in public, I dare you. So, the comics you make and put out on a regular basis, are they their own individual stories, or is there some overarching through line to these stories?
Kind of like a joke-a-day format for the most part. Like, just whatever dumb pun I woke up, like, screaming about.
This is the thing today!
Yes, this is the thing today. I keep a running list of things, and some ideas never get drawn because they're absolutely, like, they're just too stupid.
Okay, where's the line between garbage idea and, like, this makes me laugh? So.
If there's too many steps to understanding the joke, it's a garbage idea.
Okay, so if it's too complicated.
Yeah, like it's only funny to me because I like went through all these hoops in my head to get here, but like actually drawing out all these hoops is not practical. It's not going to be funny. Nobody's going to take the time to look through all that.
Right, yeah. So that's a good place to put the line, I think.
Yeah.
Is it hard to figure those out sometimes?
You know that it's a stupid idea that won't work when you can't figure out how to make it work.
How blatant.
So it's a fuck around and find out.
Okay. I suppose now is a good time to say that after we've dropped multiple F-bombs that this is an explicit podcast, and it is marked so on the get-go. So when people roll up to this thing and they're like, oh yeah, I want to listen to this, and before they hit the play button, They see a big red E in a red box.
I probably should have asked, are we allowed to cuss on this?
Hell yeah, we're allowed to cuss. And the practical reason about that is I don't like anybody feeling like they can't speak freely in front of my microphone. So, if anybody says anything just too outlandish, I usually just tell them to say allegedly before they say it. But otherwise, vocabulary is pretty free game. I don't really give a shit, and I make sure that it's clearly stated on the front end that people may hear some shit they don't like when they click this play button.
That is wise to warn the consumer.
The consumer is visually warned if they are paying attention, and if not, then that's on them. So, whatever.
Indeed.
But it works out because I like to cuss, and sometimes you just can't avoid it in very articulate conversations, such as this. So it is what it is. But that's also always a funny thing for me to say to people. And they're like, oh, yeah, you can say whatever the hell you want. And then sometimes they'll just be like, well, fuck, it's great. So it either comes about naturally or produces a really blatant and funny scenario. One way or the other, I'm entertained.
Indeed.
So Rudy's running around getting some pets. Probably going to end up on the table again here in a minute.
Yeah.
So how much do you want to talk about this comic book? First of all, do you want to keep it sort of low key and not talk about it much?
I'm just excited that I'm like kind of living this dream thing that I've always wanted to do. I will say that it involves Yetis.
Yetis. I'm here for it. Sold.
There's Yetis, and I don't want to give anything else away though, because it's special.
Okay, that's fair. I won't ask you. I won't pry any further about it.
I am on track though. That I am proud of.
So the progress of the project is going really well.
It is on track. It is where it should be right now.
What you said March, right?
Yeah, like end of March. I plan to have it completely finished drawing, and I've already picked out where I want to get it printed because I find that like when you're working in things that you want to have printed, you should know where they're going to be printed first. So that you draw them from the beginning to spec for it. So I know I've already got all that planned out. It's just like a indie. Am I using that term correctly here?
Are they self-owned and operated?
Yes, they are.
Then you could probably say indie.
Okay.
Probably.
I'm independently publishing a comic book, and then I might even like drop it off at comic book stores, like guerrilla like don't even tell them that I'm doing it.
Just walk in and put one on the shelf.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave one there and like I don't know, see if anything happens.
You know what that would be?
What?
Very punk rock of you. That's anarchy right there. Let me go deposit this with no price tag on the shelf of this random comic shop, and somebody's gonna pick it up and be like, hey man, behind the counter, what the hell is this? And he's just like, I don't know. And then you turn to the back like there's all your social media and shit.
Exactly. So doing that.
I love this idea, and you know what? If you send me a few, I'll do it around Knoxville just for shits and giggles.
We are gonna guerrilla comic drop.
Yeah, there we go. So is this timeline comfortable, or is it kind of a pressure cooker for you? It's
comfortable in the sense that it's a little bit of a pressure cooker. Like, I like putting pressure on myself because it makes me do things. Just the right amount of pressure.
So it's January. What is today? Today's the 29th.
Yes.
So you've got
like 2 whole months.
Yeah.
That's plenty of
Are you going for is the deadline like March 31st?
Yes.
But when you send the completed files to the printer?
Yes.
Okay. So done, over with, everything's out of your hands.
Yeah.
Hands off.
That's hands off, like boom. Because you've seen my content. I am very good at being like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I finished that. It's done. It's gone. Finished.
Finally. Yeah. So cool. Well, I'm glad you've figured out how to pace it at just a level, enough to really spur you into action. You wake up like in the middle of the night, like I got to work on it, or.
Yeah, I have I pick up like random commission work, so I always like scooch that to the front of the queue. But if I'm not doing like those random things that people are definitely giving me money for, I'm drawing the stuff that I feel is very important. The world needs this Yeti story. It needs it.
Well, I'm already sold. So. Can we talk about your workflow?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's that like? Well, you wake up in the morning, you've got the ideas. What happens between that and when you're done drawing the thing?
First I have to feed my cats, or else they stand on my computer and
Steal your pens and
yes, and cause all kinds of terrible trouble.
I've seen their exploits.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty good about sharing their exploits, being like, do you see what I have to work with?
You've got terrible
Maniacs.
coworkers.
Terrible, they're the worst. They sit on my computer, they like open up windows, like all of a sudden like they've got the calculator going. What's happening, bros? So yeah, I just like fight with the cats all day and draw whenever they let me.
And it's 3-on-1. You got 3 cats.
Yeah, it's 3-on-1. They're brutal. But yeah, I just like, get up and putz about for a little bit, and usually from like 9 to 12, I'm sitting there drawing furiously. Either something that I pre-planned like the night before, like, okay, so tomorrow I'm going to draw this. Or it's just some random crap that like I dreamed about and woke up and was like, I have to draw this right freaking now. And I just jump straight in. Like there's not a lot of planning. Like it's just, just kind of, I just like go.
So you sat down at your desk and then it just happened.
Yeah. Just pop it right out. Like I try not to do a lot of second guessing. Because I like for it to have like a very, a friend put it best. My artwork resembles that of a very talented 5-year-old. Sometimes. I'm
not gonna hate on that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hate on that.
Because I'm like, I've seen some very talented 5-year-olds, and I'm like totally.
You're right there, right?
Yeah, I'm right there with them. Sometimes I go for a more polished look because I like variety. I don't want to just do one thing all the time because that would get boring.
Right.
But yeah, I'm like all for the zany, the absurd, just like drawing a freaking stick figure cat and being like, that's it.
This is a thing, like it or not.
Yeah. Somebody asked me, does Punk Turkey have a mouth? And I'm like, well, sometimes if I need him to have a mouth for expressions, but otherwise, no. He just has like a circle for a head and a triangle beak, and that's it, man.
I mean, how much more do you need to get the attitude across? Because you're really good at posturing your characters.
Thanks.
To get a visual sense of what they're trying to convey. That I think. So that's really entertaining to me.
Appreciate that. That's a good insight. I like it.
Yeah, and if we're rolling with the compliments, I think your composition's really good too about how you place your characters in your panels and whatnot. So
my art teachers would be so happy to hear all of that.
Well, the hierarchy of your images seem to flow very naturally, and my eye is drawn just so well across the page.
Okay, that was some pretty good art teacher speak. I like it.
Yeah, those are the things I enjoy about your artwork. They're pleasant to the eye.
Thanks.
Are there other things outside? Well, let me stick with the art floor question. I had somebody ask me. I had a guest ask me one day if I had any demons in my art flow. Hitches in my giddy up, or just things that bug me about how I do the thing. Obviously, you have 3 cats to fight, but are there any innate things to you that are demons in your workflow? Are you ever like procrastinating, or do you suffer from that?
So sometimes I have too many ideas that I want to do, and I can't pick one. So I have to. When I get in those situations, like I can get really, really anxious, and then get like a little too inside my head. But my coping strategy for that has been to tell myself, just do the fastest thing. Like whichever thing you can start and finish first, like that is what you're going to do right freaking now.
I like that.
Yeah.
And that works for you?
Yeah, that works for me. That helps. It's kind of like if you're like an anxious person or just, I guess an ADD person, and you have like, the executive dysfunction, like you don't want to do anything, you can't make yourself do anything. I've got like a mantra for that, which is like, just do the next right thing. And the next right thing might just be like picking up a pillow off of the floor.
Right.
And then like you just like start a string of like doing the next right thing, and all of a sudden like your dopamine's firing, which is great because that's what you were lacking in your brain. that got you into that, morose situation in the first place. So if you can manipulate your brain chemicals by just like manipulating your environment, then that's a big plus.
How long did it take you to figure out how to do that?
Oh God. Too long, because
Yeah. But now that you've got it figured out.
Yeah, it's very helpful.
So are there any other, do you fight your technology often because you use digital tools?
No, me and my technology are best buds. Like, we are very good buds.
Good.
I think I tried to use a different software once for like animation, and I fought with that and then gave up on it and went right back to my Clip Studio Paint because I know how it works. Blender looks really cool, but there's a steep learning curve on that one.
Yeah, it can be intimidating. I've used it not lately, but I have used it.
I'm like, I might at some point mess with it again, but like I do have this problem where I try to branch out into too many things. Like, I'm all like, I'm gonna learn how to do animation. I'm gonna learn how to make a comic book. Like, I'm gonna do all of these things. I'm gonna do 57 new things that I don't know how to do. And it's like, no, slow the hell down. You're not gonna do that. You're gonna pick one and focus on it and get that down. And then, like, once you've got that down, then you can do one of these other things if you're still into it.
Do you have an example of that? The one new thing you've learned recently?
Well, actually, that is my example, because I have kind of put my animations a little bit on the back burner because I'm like, I need to make a freaking comic book. Like, I need to do that, and then, like, I'll get back to the animations. Just animating's so much work.
It really is.
And, like, it's not going to bring me anything as far as, like, compensation for my time right now. But I do have like visions of like more cartoons with the characters that I've drawn. But you gotta like, there's like a flow of things, like you gotta do like, you want to get like the cartoon, the comic books drawn first.
Yeah.
And then maybe those comic books become cartoons. Like, it's kind of like it becomes a storyboard and a script. And man, I mean, do you know how long it takes to animate 30 seconds worth of something? Like, I
do, actually.
even doing like poorly animated, like sloppy animation, like
it's about it's 1 to 8 hours for every second video. And I tell you this because I've animated things professionally before, and at the time it was kind of a bane of my existence in the way that the content I was working on decided to do a Christmas special. And I had to listen to everybody sing Christmas songs in elf-tuned voices.
Oh, Lord.
And I had to animate music videos to that. And boy, howdy, let me tell you. Don't get me wrong, I've done a lot of normal-ish, non-holiday work up until then. But then, everybody at the head of the project was like, oh, yeah, definitely, let's do a Christmas blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, no elf voices, no chipmunk shit. And they're like, yeah, we're going to do that. And I was just like, no. So, there was like a month and a half where I had to listen to elf and chipmunk high-pitched singing voices.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. The other year and a half I did that job, I didn't have to deal with that.
Okay. Nice.
But that one holiday special was terribly. God, it was torture. So I'm happy I don't have to do that again.
Yeah.
But the work involved, time versus output in animation is intensive.
It's when somebody's willing to pay me for an animation, I'm all over it. Like, oh, hell yeah, because I love doing it.
Right.
And then the one time, like, I got to do a music video for somebody.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Oh my gosh, it was so fun. And thankfully, it was not torture to listen to. It's a delightful track.
Right, it is a delightful track. I do enjoy it.
I did think it was funny because he was joking. He was all like, I didn't cuss one time in that track. And that's not typical of him.
Right.
He was all like, man, play this one for your kids.
That's great. So everything in that video is hand-drawn by you, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely everything.
Everything.
And what software did you animate that in?
Clip Studio Paint.
And did you make your assets in a different program? Let's talk about software for a second.
Oh, you mean like clip them together? Like,
Well, where did you actually generate the assets? Like, where did you draw the characters and environments and stuff?
straight in Clip Studio Paint.
Okay, so you did all of it in one
All
spot.
of it.
Okay.
Well, and then like I use a Movavi video editor because I would animate like a 4 to 6 second scene, and then put it into Clip Studio, put it into Movavi with the music.
Okay. I've never heard of Movavi.
It's a inexpensive video editor that's
Okay.
like not super hard to use, but it's definitely like it's a lot better than using iMovie.
All right. I ask people about their software or tools sometimes because there's all kinds of shit out there I've never heard of, and that's an example of it.
Yeah, I like this one. It's like $30 and then you own it, and
Oh, nice.
yeah, and it's a medium between like the really advanced like professional video editing softwares and the very super basic beginners.
Okay. I'll have to check that out.
Yes, it's just my level.
So let's see. Would you say it's prosumer?
Yes,
Prosumer
definitely,
software?
definitely. And like I don't see any reason why you couldn't do professional projects on it. Like I think there are definitely going to be some features though that you won't find in it that you do get when you go to like, what is it, Premiere Pro and like
All the subscription-based services?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not into those at all.
Yeah, they bug me, those money racket.
Me too. I have spurned all of the Adobe stuff. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it.
There are all kinds of good alternatives out there, so I don't spend a lot of time sweating it.
The only hiccup with that comes to when you go to like collaborate with others.
And they're like, I'll send you the AI file, and you're
Yeah,
like, no,
not the AI file.
Right? Convert that for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know those pains. I know those pains indeed. Do you use any other softwares on a regular basis? Or is it just Clip Studio interface
Honestly,
with your
Clip Studio
pad?
does everything I need. Like it's a really good software.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you used other drawing and painting?
Nope. I
Really?
picked
No
one
way?
and stuck with it.
Man, I've got like 9 of them on my computer.
Really?
Right here. Yes. And honestly, I went down a deep dark rabbit hole one day of finding good drawing and painting softwares that have a nice like mirror or symmetry function where I could make drawing mandalas kind of easy on myself.
Oh, cool.
So I found like 6 of them, and I downloaded 4 of them, and I've got all sorts of stuff on my computer.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. When I know I have that one task I can complete in that one piece of software really easily, I'll go do that.
That's clever.
It works, but it keeps me from fully learning all of the different programs' capabilities. Like
really digging in.
Yeah, I'm very fluent in Photoshop, and I use Sketchbook Pro sometimes. And then if I'm drawing vector images, I'll be in Inkscape. Mm-hmm. And then if I'm doing...
I downloaded that. Considered using it, yeah.
It's fun.
Clip Studio Paint does vector.
Oh, there
it's
you go.
all in there.
I do enjoy it. I'll use it. I'll use that most often when I'm taking things I've drawn on paper and making it into 2D profiles that I print. So I'll draw the thing on paper. I'll build it digitally and then save that as an SVG, and then I can take the SVG into my 3D software and extrude it and make whatever shapes I need based off that line work. And then that's how a lot of my jewelry comes to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I'll draw like the raw shape out on a piece of paper, usually on a piece of grid paper, so I can get the scaling and everything I want. And then I'll put it in the computer and I'll go and then make it big and then shoot it through the 3D printer.
That is freaking clever.
It works. It really works. And it's not an uncommon workflow for that use case. A lot of people do that. I mean, you can do it with you can import Illustrator files into some of the 3D programs that I've used. So if there's somewhere you can make a vector shape, it'll do it.
Heck yeah.
It works. It works pretty well. And then I think the last one I use that has a really, really nice like symmetry brush tool is called Krita. And I've also used like Manga Studio 4 or something like that before.
Seen that one popping around.
Yeah, it's pretty popular, but I never gave it the time. The program I used when I was animating professionally was called Crazy Talk Animator Pro 2. And it was a lot of fun. You can make 2D assets for the 360 degree profile of a character at like 45 degree increments. So if somebody was going to turn 90 degrees, you draw 3 sets of sprites. And then, 1, 2, 3, then they're turned 90 degrees. And then they had a Z-axis function in the 2D space of the animation window. So you could add depth. Instead of just shrinking and growing assets, you could also set them, far in the background.
Nice.
Which made for really nice scene composition. I took advantage of that as often as possible.
Indeed, this is making me think maybe I should take some classes on animation, because a lot of these words you're using, I'm like, I honestly, like, everything I figured out how to do has just been like brute force, like me screwing around with stuff.
Well, it took me like a month and a half, 2 months to really get fluent in that, and I was using it 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, because that was the job.
Yeah.
One of the jobs I had at the time. I had 3 part-time jobs at this point in my life.
As one does.
Oh God, 22 and 23 was weird. Yeah, so that and I would go home and watch YouTube videos, and I had it installed on my laptop so I could work and develop stuff off-site from the job, and figure out workflows and stuff that I could then take to work. But, I was given a seat for my personal computer as well, and a seat to use for the actual work. So I had a proper working example of the software that I could use off the clock to learn, which was really advantageous.
Indeed.
Yeah, it worked out really well in that way, because I'd come home 8 or 9 o'clock after, part-time job number 2 and spend a couple hours on the computer. And figure it out, and then go back in, and then that way my work would be faster the next day because I've done stuff,
Yes. Man, I love on-the-job learning.
Yeah, it's really nice, and honestly, it was one of those things where I had to draw and generate all my own assets, character-wise, but the program came pre-installed with 2,000 assets or whatever you could use. So I tried to use all that stuff for some of it when I could get away with it. If the subject matter fit, I would use it in the background. But all the characters and all the all the looks for the characters and all the things they interacted with in their environment, I did. So it was cool. One of the things was called "Raining Raccoons." It was a song. It was educational programming to help kids learn phonics and how to read and stuff. So the letter R song was "Raining Raccoons," and it's a country song about raccoons falling from the sky. And it's very entertaining. I really enjoyed it.
Look that up.
It may be on YouTube. I'm not sure, but it's behind a paywall on the app. I know that. much. But all this stuff is available on Google Play. Blah blah blah. I don't get any money out of it. I'm just telling you where the thing ended up. But yeah, it's a fun little story about how this lady is in her room, and then she looks outside, and all of a sudden there's raccoons falling from the skies in little parachutes, because you can't kill raccoons in children's content.
No, definitely not.
So it was all just a bunch of parachuting.
Oh my
raccoons.
gosh! Now I'm picturing like the version of Raining Raccoons that's not for children, and it's terrifying. Like,
of course it is.
They're like coming through your roof. They're angry. They're landing on your face. They're splattering in the streets.
What's the Alfred Hitchcock movie? Crows.
The Crows.
The Crows, but it's raccoons. That's terrible, and I like it.
Yes.
But that was a mess. That was one of the things that came out of that work that I really enjoyed. Other than the familiarity of the work process for animating things, which I've only used once since then. But I understand storyboarding a lot more now, and I've adapted that to less of a storytelling tool in my work, and more now just like a set of staging images in my mind that allows me to work through really complex images I'm trying to paint. So that's really nice. I've been able to make it work with different outfits.
Cool.
Goodness. What, other than the comic book stuff, what's next? Is there a next? Have you thought about a next?
I have not.
It's just comic book.
It's just
That's
comic
the
book,
next.
like comic book, and I really hope that like comic book becomes like such a thing that it's all like after comic book you do next comic book, like, more of these.
So would that potentially force you to have a small story arc or anything of some sort, or would you want to keep it in like individual stories per book?
Individual stories per book to start.
Yeah.
Because like the first book, it's a trilogy within one, so it's like 3 stories.
Okay, gotcha.
Punk Turkey he's a tough one because he doesn't tell me things like the cat does. Like the cat prances around and he screams like, "Look at my butthole."
Yes.
But, like the turkey won't even tell me where he works. You know, like does Punk Turkey have a job?
What a
Who
turkey
knows? Exactly. Like I don't know. He's kind of sketchy. Like nobody's really sure what he does. Maybe there's a reason why he's not telling us what he does. And maybe something like that becomes a story arc. There's definitely like I want to do like time travel stuff, mix in sci-fi. Like it's gonna get kind of weird.
Well, I want you to know that I'm totally here for space donut time traveling cats.
Yes.
So yeah, like roll with that. I'm here for it.
Like I have this vision where like it doesn't have to make sense.
So I want to make a suggestion that just hit me. There's no wormholes in this intergalactic space travel. It's all donut holes.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Because I want to travel through the event horizon of a donut hole.
Yes.
Can you make that happen for me? I would love that.
I think we can make that happen.
Oh, Lord. Oh, goodness. I'm so pleased.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else? You said the markets. Do you know which markets? Have you signed up for them already?
I'm doing the East Nashville Art Market and the East Nashville Flea Market, and I'm signed up for the Nashville Punk Rock Flea Market. And I want to branch out and do more of the punk rock flea markets, just because the first one I did was great. Like it was full of my people, and I mean like the print. Like I was selling prints at the market, and the print that sold the most was a D&D related print at the punk rock flea market. So it's like I know that there's like so much overlap between like people who are like nerdy and into sci-fi and into cats and into punk rock at these events.
Yeah. There's a lot of overlap.
Yes, this is where I'm going to get like the most interaction with people regarding the things that I make.
Do I taste good? What have I done? I'm getting licked incessantly, or at least attempted to.
Yeah.
This is, well, I can ask you this, but I can't ask Knoxville people this because they don't live here. What's it like being a creative person in Nashville area right now?
You know,
how's it treating you?
It's good. Honestly, I've met like some really nice creative people. I've worked with a few of them. There's a lot of outlets here, like when I compare it to, you know, where I used to live in South Carolina, which was lovely. You know, lots of hiking. I had great friends there. But I wanted to move here to a bigger city that has like more of an art scene that is available to people like me.
Yeah.
You know, that is like more accepting of like lowbrow and
well, I don't think
off-center things.
Off-center, I think it's better than lowbrow because I don't think what you do is lowbrow.
I know. Okay, off-center I like because I haven't felt like that term like quite fit, but I feel like I'm closer to that than I am to some other things. But off-center, yes.
I like that a lot. Yeah, I feel like that's more accurate than lowbrow.
Yeah. Although I love lowbrow art.
Well, yeah, there's something about the gritty truthfulness of it, but the term lowbrow, I don't know if it's got some sort of connotations that I don't agree with in the context of it. I don't feel as if that's a negative term. I just don't feel as if it's the most accurate.
It's not, because you're right. I've been struggling like to find like the best descriptor for it, and like the best I keep coming back to is stupid. Stupid as an aesthetic.
What about fantastical?
Ooh. Okay, fantastical, because that doesn't have that connotation that a lot of people put on it.
Right. Like, I guess stupid might have some negative connotations attached to it.
It does.
Not that that's a bad thing,
Exactly.
but it could, one could perceive it in a way.
Yeah.
I think silly also works.
Silly does work. I am all about the silly. Well, and that brings the 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are other adjectives out there we can attach to this that have less negative connotations. I think we found a few. So Nashville, you mostly just run around in East Nashville, or is that where a lot of the farmers markets are?
That's where the ones I've found are.
Okay.
And of course, I haven't been out as much as I'd like to be over the past few years.
Yeah, COVID pandemic shenanigans.
Yeah, that was a pain in the ass. And of course, I moved to Nashville right at the start of it. So I didn't really get to do as much of the exploring as I would have liked. But here and there, when it makes sense to do so, I go and do stuff.
I've found through my conversations with people that the sudden abundance of free time that they had was a really helpful thing to their artistic practice.
Yeah.
Is that something you could say?
I think it's 100% to blame for my...
To blame?
To blame, yes. Yes, if you must blame something for what I've done, it's definitely getting laid off from work and being there well, guess I'm going to have to figure out something to do besides whatever my job told me to do every day,
Right.
Got all this time now. Can't just sit here and go crazy. I'm not just going to sit here and binge everything on Netflix. I mean, there's, just only so much good stuff to even watch.
Right.
Yeah, it made me realize what I really wanted to do, where I wanted to be. So yeah.
When. It was helpful for me as well.
Nice.
Really helped nail down a lot of ideas and thought processes that I thought would be beneficial to my workflow. It worked out for me. I was able to use some of that time wisely. Only some of it.
Not all of it. I mean, we're under
not.
no obligation to use all of our time wisely or productively. We should all definitely dick around some.
60% of the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's actually good numbers.
Yeah. It's there's still enough time to do stuff and be responsible, but it's not overbearing at 40%.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm down with that.
So I didn't ask you to put your socials out there at the top of the show, so I'm going to ask you to do that now, and then we'll talk ourselves on out of here.
Okay. My socials, just my @
Yeah, wherever and whichever ones you have.
Okay, gotcha. So you can find me on
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm on TikTok recently, having fun there. And I upload a lot of GIFs to Giphy, which makes me really excited because I find that my GIFs are getting used. People are sending GIFs of my dumb cartoons to each other.
That's awesome.
But my @ is Whiskykitteeeeee. There's no E in whiskey and there's lots of E's at the end of kitty.
That makes up for it.
Yeah.
And any other outlets? No YouTube channels? No Reddits?
I do have a YouTube channel. The same @ I have the same @ on everything. Which
so
is
your
great.
SEO is on point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Super on
Great.
point.
Well, excellent. I drove 2 hours and, I guess 3.5 hours after the bullshit and traffic to be here and sit down and have this conversation, and it's been totally worth it. And it was great to see you outside of an art event that we occasionally run into each other at. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. It was fun and enjoyable to have this conversation with you. And I'm Thomas Zachary. This has been an episode of the KAAMP. If y'all want to support, you can throw money at me in the streets. You can tell people to listen to the podcast. You can buy my art at The Twisted Wrist on Instagram. Or you could, listen to another episode after this and then tell your friends to get this shit in their ear holes because that's where it ought to be. Thank y'all and enjoy.